I have seen this over and over again, and the right wing has provocateurs, too, that work for their right-wing blogs with the Michelle Malkin setup. When they said that I was saying kill Michelle Malkin, we got the raw video out and showed their people were behind me screaming it. So there's dirty tricks on both sides, but the big, massive operation is with Obama's people. Continuing, according to leading anarchist website InfoShop News, on April 15th, thousands of right-wingers will attend rallies. Well, don't they agree with you more for smaller government anarchists? But when you really meet these anarchists, they're always wearing red stars. On April 15th, thousands of right-wingers will attend rallies in cities and towns across the United States. The organizers of these nationwide day of protest call it a Tea Party. This Tea Party movement that emerged only a year ago is a coalition of conservatives, anti-Semites, fascists, libertarians, racists, constitutionalists, militiamen, gun freaks, homophobes, Ron Paul supporters, and Alex Jones conspiracy types, and American flag wavers. Yeah, you don't want to wave that American flag. So I'm lumped in with those evil flag wavers. In one paragraph, the so-called anarchists have regurgitated wholesale the exact rhetoric that the corporate-owned media, their supposed adversaries, have been spewing ceaselessly for months on end, that anyone who opposes big government, which is what anarchists are supposed to do, is a racist and a extremist. While also lying about the origins of the Tea Party, which is in fact was started by Ron Paul supporters as early as 2007. The anarchists' primary reason for wanting to crash Tea Party demonstrations because is the Tea Party movement takes over the country, they will really hurt poor people by getting rid of social programs like food stamps, unemployment benefits, disability benefits, student aid, free health care act. Quote, is completely at odds with the traditional anarchist political doctrine of extremely limited or no government whatsoever. Yeah, most of these attack groups that call themselves anarchists are communist. I mean, I've been there. I've seen them wearing red stars and talking about Mao Zedong and how great he is. The article continues here. As Kurt Nimmo points out, these people are not anarchists at all. They are leftist, teenage socialist punks who like to call themselves workers, but a good portion of whom have probably never worked a day in their life. They make for perfect puppets through which the establishment can manipulate to demonize its real political adversaries. And then they link to all the news articles for page after page, Denver Post, Toronto Star, all the articles where mainstream news admits the police stage these groups and stage these events 110%. They've been caught over and over and over and over again, all over this nation, all over the world, all over other countries. And that's just the first part of the article. I'm going to come back and cover some more of it. But as we have constantly warned, the latter half of April represents the most dangerous time period for when we can expect violence to be staged, provocateured, which will instantly be blamed on Tea Partiers, libertarians, and constitutionalists. A brief history of how anarchist groups have been infiltrated and steered by authorities to commit mayhem and violence in order to justify a crackdown of free speech and the right to assemble has never been more prescient. Then we have the links. Feds prepare to use anarchists to provoke Tea Party violence. We have another link here at the G20 summit where they got caught doing it. We have links all over the world. The 1999 WTO, the 2008 situation in Canada. We have links to all of this in the article. We also show how hired thugs that work for Obama all over the country are beating up Tea Party people, and the news spins it and says the Tea Party people are attacking them. Just like a week and a half ago when the Democratic congressman walked through and claimed that the N-word was yelled, they were spit at, people said they were going to kill him. The closest thing to truth there is kill the bill. Kill the bill. No spitting, no N-word. That video is all out there of the actual incident. They claim people were arrested for doing it. They were not arrested. All part of this hoax. And we're now into April. It is April 2nd on this Friday edition. This is the time as we go into this. Tea Party people need to be made aware of this. They need to have cameras. They need to have video cameras. They need to be protecting themselves. And they need to be nonviolent. We'll be right back. Well, for the next hour, Bob Chapman of InternationalForecaster.com will be riding shotgun with us. He'll talk about some of the big developments in the economy. The federal government openly saying they're preparing to take private and public pension funds to give it to the private banks. That is Bloomberg. The latest developments there. But Bob Chapman, of course, has been run out of the United States for exposing these people, shot at, you name it. He helped publish the book Gary Allen. They put out over 5 million copies. He's been fighting for more than 50 years. Former military intelligence, worked in Germany, South Africa, you name it. But this was the only hour we could get them on today because I learned of this morning. I knew because it was in the AP and other publications a month or so ago that he got set up by Williamson County. He's a former narcotics officer who does stings exposing government violations of the Fourth Amendment, cops stealing drugs, you name it. And after he did a big sting, they arrested him and took their son. They have taken their son, and I have the CPS police report saying they took him because, quote, parents are unsuitable and create an environment where the children believe the government is out to harm them. So the headline up at Infowars.com, cops and CPS seize child from parents for mistrusting government. PrisonPlanet.com. This is the Soviet Union. I want to go to Bob Chapman before we come back with these folks. Then we'll get into all the other issues. But Bob, you were just telling me about another case of this with Canada and the U.S. I mean, this is bad, where now under these rules of war against the people, they take your children for your political beliefs.
Well, this family was in New Brunswick, and it abuts Aroostook County, that's how it's pronounced, incidentally, in Maine, and they had bought a farm in New Brunswick, and the former owners of that farm had moved down the way, and they wanted to go down and see them. So they went down the road, and there were a couple of signs, but they thought they took the right road. They didn't, and they were immediately pulled over by Border Patrol, and they told them that they said, "You Canadians?" And they said, "Yeah." They said, "You're under arrest," took them in. Now, this is a dog and two little girls and a man, and I think his wife was there too. And they fingerprinted them and charged them, but they said they were going to let them go so they could return to Canada. Now, what are these people thinking about? I'm talking about Border Patrol. I just don't get it.
Well, Bob, we're going to discuss this case coming up in the next segment and get your take on it. And then about 30, 40 minutes into the interview, our guest will leave us. But this was an emergency situation. Then we'll get into the economy and other issues. What do you think about the Fed-run anarchist announcing that they are going to go disrupt? We know how they disrupt, attacking people, breaking things at tea parties nationwide. How does that fit into my prediction that they're going to start staging events into the month of April? Now this provocateur action with the Hatari militia, this doesn't look good.
No, it's going to continue to degenerate. And the reason it is taking the form that it's taking is it being forced to. And you saw a perfect example of that last Friday when we talked about, and then you did some further work on the fact that CNN wanted to interview you. They don't know what to do. They're trying to stop us, and they can't. And so they're branching out. They're trying to be disruptive everywhere that they can in order to keep us off balance. And it's not going to, because we're telling the truth, and we're not breaking the law, and we want everybody to know what their rights are, and we want everybody to know what's going on out there, what the government is doing.
Well, we're going to cover all of that coming up. There's also some good news. Federal judge finds NSA wiretaps were illegal. And so we'll be breaking that down. But coming up, police say teaching kids to mistrust government makes couple unsuitable parents. That's from True Slant. We also have our article on this that's more detailed. Cops and CPS seize child from parents for mistrusting government. You're not allowed to teach children to not trust the state. I guess Thomas Jefferson would have had his family taken away because of his common sense. We'll be right back.